Welcome back to Rebel Ants Radio. My name is Kevin, joined as always by my co-host Miguel, and this is our video podcast for the Rebel Ants NFT project, which is just taking over, barbecues like ants in the summertime. Miguel, how are you?
You really messed that up, dude.
I did. I can't figure it out. I need to work on that.
You made up this quote. How did you mess it
up? I want to get it better. I want to refine it.
We are like ants at a summer barbecue.
Ants at a summer barbecue. Miguel, we're about to introduce Mike as our special guest, and he has a beard and you don't. Are you okay with having like two beards and one not?
What? You hating that I don't have one?
I mean, how do you feel about it?
I have hair though.
That's true. You do have me beat there. We've got some people watching already, so thanks for joining us. Feel free to drop a comment. Let us know where you are watching from, and give us a like, maybe a subscribe. And before we add Mike in here, just a reminder, you can head over to rebelants.io, mint your very own Battle for the Colony, beautiful Rebel Ant for 0.005 ETH. And the way the market has been, I don't know, that could be anywhere from $15 to $30. But do us a favor, support us, head over there. Lots of good things to come. Maybe some rewards through Drip. We'll find out how this conversation goes with Mike, if he can convince us to move forward or not. But let's have you all here with us. Huh?
It's too late.
I know you did add it already. My admin notifications were blowing up while I'm trying to, watch my kid at the park and my phone's blowing up. I almost lost him. Thank you.
But you did it.
All right, Miguel, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's bring him in.
All right. Let's bring him in. Mike, welcome to Rebel Ants Radio. How are you?
Thank you. I'm wonderful. We're at the end of a weekend, which means for people who have kids, we're at the easy part of the week coming up.
Yeah, the Monday. Monday. Yeah. I've got a kid who has a trumpet recital this week in school, so he's practicing. I told him he needs to be like 3 floors below where I am right now so that his trumpet is not on stream.
I don't have any kids.
No, mine are little. We were talking to my wife, I think, yesterday, and she was like, well, what would you do if our son grows up and wants to be in a rock band? I'm like, he needs to learn to practice at his friend's place.
Yeah. No drums in this house.
So I'm not envious of your situation there.
Yeah. Well, let him try things.
Yeah.
I don't want to discourage anything.
No.
It's all good. So how was your week, Mike? What did you accomplish this week?
Oh, it was crazy. I don't want to drop into some of the drip stuff right away, but there were some really interesting things that happened. And so you know how the farming meta is kind of going on right now with everything that happened Beyond and Portal and all those, where it's the farming meta on X.
Yeah.
Well, people discovered that if you use drip as a part of that, it just puts it into hyperspeed.
Really? Okay, so before we even talk about that, why don't you give a quick elevator pitch on what is drip to our current and future viewers?
Well, so beforehand, to answer your question, so the week got crazy. I thought it was going to be okay, just general meetings and whatnot. I'm co-founder of Drip. I do a lot of biz dev there. And so, a lot of it's the general meet and greet, talk to people, introduce them to it, bring them in. And then people found a newfound way to use us, and so things got crazy. So to answer your question, Drip is an engagement and rewards platform. In the Web3 sense, everyone brought in a community 2 years ago, and now they're sitting there with these communities of 500 people to 50,000 people. And the community is somewhat stagnant. So Drip gives the community a reason to exist and a reason to become better and reactivate. We do that through engagement quests, which are X quests and Discord quests for now, with much more coming. You've seen these quests in other places. We do it a little bit better. And something that's oddly weird is we actually make sure that the quest was done properly.
Nice.
Which I think was new, but is actually a weird thing to confirm that. And the quests are usually like a tweet, you're reposting, liking, commenting, following people, things like that. And you can earn points. You can also earn points for owning NFTs in the collection. You can earn points for learning about whatever it is, NFTs, the collection, the lore. And we also have play to earn. So it really comes down to learn to earn, play to earn, and own to earn. And all these wrap up this reward section that the communities have storefronts that allow them to give people a reason to be earning. They can buy NFTs, they can buy discounts, they can use Shopify to buy real merch, or even their own Discord, they can have merch. We're seeing a lot of cross collabs, whitelist, pre-sales, bridging to tokens that way. It's a really cool way for people to build a microeconomy with an off-chain token in, I don't know, less than 5 minutes. It's
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Miguel was setting it up. Miguel, how did that go for you today?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed that. It was very simple because I suck at Discord. Let me tell you.
Me too. I'm with you.
I hate Discord with a passion. I'm lying.
It's
very complicated to me for some reason. But
Discord, yeah, it is. It's if you can navigate. They're basically like, if you can navigate Discord, you get a PhD. It comes free with figuring out Discord.
I know. I feel like I'm back in school, just learning Discord all over again. But as I was setting it up, it was pretty simple. At the same time, I was watching some of the videos on the website, and he just made it very simple. And it was a breeze. It took me literally 5 minutes to set it up.
That's awesome. I'm happy to hear that.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and if you ever have problems, our support is always on top of things, so feel free to blow them up.
Yeah, I will. Trust me, I will. I'm gonna get stuck somewhere. I know it. I can feel it.
Mike, are you finding that those communities, I think you use the word like re-engage. Like, I like that word because, like you said, I'm a member of so many Discords that I've muted them because it just didn't matter anymore, or, they're not the new thing anymore. They're not the new kid on the block. So I like that word of re-engage because, as Miguel just said, neither of us are good at Discord. And it's just, I don't know, like, it's this thing that I've just not paid attention to for ourselves. And I feel like maybe we missed the boat with the launch of our community and not kind of being active there, that people look inside, they're like, it's dead here, goodbye.
So Discord definitely has that. If there isn't an announcement seemingly weekly, the first thing people do when they hop into a chat is they just check announcements. It doesn't matter what the announcement is. We're building, we're doing XYZ. As long as there's something there that shows that it's been active, like, okay, cool. And then there's the general chats. And there's been this whole conversation on that front of general chat versus holder chat. Because if all the great chat happens in a holder chat, then a new person comes in, sees the general chat is dead, and they leave, despite the fact that you might have a vibrant community. They're just talking in holder. So Discord management, from that sense, is a little bit complicated. We found that this sort of re-engagement, the questing is great because it gives the community owners the ability to just push things out there, to push the narrative of what they want, of what's going on. And the owned earn has become something where there's typically in communities these large events, mints, very large raids, large collabs, but you can't keep your community entertained just every day. You can't do it in between. Yeah. So this allows the community to sort of entertain each other through tipping each other for things, through playing games together. You can allow them to have some of the quest roles so they can post quests. Because if you make your community your evangelists, it just takes so much of an effort off of you. Because you can't come up with something new every day. It's too much.
Yeah. Who's doing it the best right now?
So, okay. These guys found us like a day or two ago. And it's a Beyond farming group for Beyond. They performed 24,000 quests now in the last 36 hours.
What? Jeez, how many people are that?
In just a few thousand people group.
Jeez.
These guys are farming beyond hard. It is crazy. It is amazing. And this is what we're seeing. This is a ridiculous way of just, it's alpha for how to farm these airdrops. Because they pose a quest, everyone just clicks a few buttons to engage.
Yeah.
So they're able to engage easily. And they go to Twitter and they actually have to engage. So we make sure people are doing this for real and not just, bots. But it's much easier to search your timeline and finding things. So it's the rate in which they've churned it out has been amazing. And the fact that we've been able to hold up and never break has been cool because they just push things to the limit.
That's cool. That's a lot of workload. Miguel, you're active on crypto Twitter, but you don't do a lot of farming, right? Like, what's your stance on all this?
No, I tried doing some farming maybe about a month ago, and it just didn't work out.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work. Yeah,
it really is. That's why this I always stayed away from it too. And then I saw what they were doing. I popped in there. I started doing it, and just it's so much.
It kind of dies off. Like I downloaded the game. I started playing the game, and then
which one, Block or
Block? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I stopped, and then I kept going, and then it got boring. So I'm like, you know what? I'm done with this. Like I don't want to do this.
It is, and that's a tough part. Is a lot of that meta there is it's not necessarily genuine. It's just push this narrative, which it's free marketing for those guys.
Yeah.
Push the narrative, keep it going, and at least people are going to earn on the back end for it.
You know, I'm curious to know, because you guys figure out that there was a problem, right? And then you guys ended up coming up with this thing, right, called Drip. Like how does that look? Like how did that begin? What was the idea behind it?
Sure. So our founder Toli ran Bad Bears, and Drip really came out of there, where it was developed, by the founder for the community to solve a problem that they had of what we're talking about of engagement. Mm-hmm. And so Bad Bears created this as a tool for themselves to keep the community engaged. They had as a meme maker in it to have fun and play and do all this stuff. And then other communities saw it and were like, "Hey, this is pretty cool. Can I get in?" And as it evolved over the bear market, it was in building for 18 months as it was just going through the bear, keeping alive. We found product market fit, and we spun it out into Drip, into its own thing. In January, it was public release. So in the last 4 months since then, we have now 470 communities and around 700,000 users.
That's huge.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a crazy run.
What do you feel are the biggest challenges with Drip, for example? What is the, like, especially with the market being up and down, like what are you currently facing in the industry now that's kind of like stopping you guys from getting bigger?
So luckily right now we're getting bigger. We haven't done any marketing yet.
Oh wow.
So it's so it's been organic. So determining that marketing, determining our next steps there that we want to do is part of it. We've been making sure that we our tech is secure, is safe, that everything holds up. So that's always been the challenge, is making sure that you upgrade at the right times, and that because when you start, you got to refactor eventually, that it works and can scale. Otherwise, I think, and something that we're working on solving for people is community spins up like yourself, and you're like, okay, how are we going to reward our people?
Right.
Yeah. What are we going to do? So one of the next things we're working on is solving that problem of making it easier for you with a toolkit of here's how you can reward your people with a suite of options, just to take the workload off of you.
Yeah. What do you think are the essential qualities that someone like us would need to be successful with Drip?
Sure. It's a passion for your community, for sure. There's always a level of creativity. The more creative you are, we've seen, because the way that you can build these things called magic embeds, the thing that separates Drip from pretty much any other bot is we don't have slash commands. There's two. There's tip and drop. Tip is to tip people, drop is requests. So there's the ability to build embeds, which are the boxes in Discord, to do all these things that so it started as simple as do you want a loot box? Sure, every day I get something. But some people get creative and they build this into a journey for a quest to learn about the community. You do this, figure this out, find this password somewhere else, go back and put it in, and build this like treasure hunt. So I think part of it is that having the creativity to think about, I want people to learn about me and get really engaged. How do I do that? How do I follow that path to create something magical that will make my community my evangelists?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I just looking at it today and playing around with it today, obviously it's very easy, but it's also very it's very easy for me to do whatever I want with it, if that makes sense. Like it's just it's a really good tool, and I'm really happy that you guys came up with this, because it's like I said, Discord was very, very tough for us. And even the engagement part, like, you guys figure out that obviously there's a problem in Web3 with NFTs and communities, that the engagement was not there, and you guys kind of are bridging that gap. So props to you guys for doing that. Like, it's just amazing to see that there's people out there that really want to bridge that gap, and that's cool to see.
Thank you. And rewarding your community is an essential part, of knowing that even small rewards, it shows that you care. It keeps them engaged, because they're like, if I'm in 100 communities, but 20 of them, 5 of them are rewarding me, I know which communities I'm picking.
Yeah, it's funny because we met at NFTNYC, and like Kevin and I, we've been talking for months about how are we going to do what we want to do with our Rebel Ants project. And a lot of the things that we want to do is stuff that you guys are making it simple for us to do. And we didn't know that until we met you, right? So I remember talking to you, and at the same time, like, I remember Kevin just looking at me like, dude, like, this is exactly what we want to do. Like, we figure it out.
Yeah, well, right before we talked to you, Mike, before you came over to our booth, we were talking to the legal team that was like a couple of booths over, and they were basically telling us like why our premise was not a great idea, because it was considered a lottery, and that puts us into some really dangerous areas about the way that we wanted to reward the community. So I think it's just like a minor pivot to get to what we want by adding drip into the process as a way to reward our holders. So, just to kind of rehash what the original idea was from Miguel and I, was that we have 5,555 of these Rebel Ants. They're divided into 11 gangs. And every week on the show, we were going to have AI tell us a story about those 11 gangs doing battle. And whoever the winner is that they pick, we would do some sort of airdrop to the winning gang. So if you hold a samurai and that's who wins, you get an airdrop that week. So that's where the legal team was saying this is sort of a lottery, because there's no skill involved, there's no actual steps involved, and it sounds like adding drip into that process, giving some sort of action adds another step in there, which maybe puts us in a safer zone. So maybe whatever those quests might be, but as long as you're the winner, we can find some sort of quest to say, as the winner, go do X, Y, or Z. And now then you can claim your rewards.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to step into the legal side of it, but I'm sure that we can enable whatever steps are necessary to differentiate on that side.
Yeah. So just to think back to this farming meta that we have now, how long do you guys think this is going to last? Because we've seen obviously a number of metas over the past 2-3 years of NFTs, being popular. But this farming thing seems to be going pretty hard. Where is this going? When does this end?
I don't know. Part of it is, does Solana tank the way it has over the last 48 hours, 24 hours, whatever it's been?
Yeah.
If that goes on for like another week or so, might see a change in meta. But if we end up rebounding from this little dip that we've got, then I don't see why it would stop. I feel like the meme coins have just reduced down everything that everyone did in this whole area in NFTs and whatnot to the most. It's like reductio ad absurdum in logic. It took it to the farthest point of what it could be and said, look, this exists, so therefore anything can exist.
Yeah, it's so dumb, and it's, I get why it's related to NFTs, but it's not really like NFT. It's just these coins that are traded on these layers that are associated with NFTs. Yeah, it's so dumb.
It's NFTs without the art. It's just it's ERC20s versus 721s. It's just the same concept instead of being like, oh, well, this one's slightly better than that one. No, they're all exactly the same, and then we trade them in mass.
Right. They're all fun. They're just fungible tokens now. That's what we've come back to.
Yeah, I gotta stop buying those things.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike. So, what brought you to the space in the first place? Like, what was the passion behind it?
Sure. So, I was in crypto. I honestly lose track. 2017, 2015, sometime back then. It was a long time ago. And then, I was just more an investor and buyer and watcher. And then my seminal moment to get in was the Mark Cuban Top Shot thing. Almost everyone is like one of those, where you were when you were.
Yeah.
So that got me into Top Shot. And then one of my favorite bands from when I was younger was a band called Our Lady Peace. And the
Oh
singer,
yeah.
you know them?
Oh,
Okay.
I'm a huge fan. And just to
Really?
step on your toes here, they released their album, or they released some music as an NFT. That was my first intro to like music NFTs.
Yes. So Rain, the lead singer,
Yeah,
is
Rain Maida.
really big in the Web3 space.
Yeah.
He set his PFP as something called Symphony of the Devil. So I'm like, oh, I need to do this. So I went and minted that and got into NFTs. Called him, but yeah, he has Drops, which is a sort of a music Web3 company.
Yeah.
He had done another one. They did the music. I got those. I have the music NFTs from his.
That's really cool. Yeah, that I remember when he was posting about that. I'm like, oh, Our Lady Peace has a Discord group now. Like, this is so weird to me.
They were active in it. They actually did
Yeah.
a really good job. I don't know if they still are. I hop in every now and then, but they were really active and they did a good job. And the band got involved. And it was one of those instances where, you know, when a celebrity or pop culture person gets into Web3 and NFTs, they're either like actually here and care and stand by it,
Right.
or they rug.
Yeah.
And those guys really care. I mean, to the point where the guy has his own company. They're passionate in this space.
Yeah.
I had no idea. So you're a fan too?
Oh yeah. Just to completely diverge from the topic of the show, I went to Woodstock '99 mostly for the reason of seeing Our Lady Peace, and I was like 13 years old at the time, you know. So this is, I don't know why my mom let me go to that. That's the craziest thing for like a parent to let a 13-year-old go to Woodstock. But
Yeah.
I went really to see them. That was like the main band that I wanted to see was Our Lady Peace. I've seen them a number of times since. You know, I'm still a huge fan, and I've gone with my dad to see them. Like, you know, we can chat more about this offline. But yeah, I'm a huge Our Lady Peace fan.
I'm with you. I'm on Spotify on the way back here. I was listening to them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right.
Good,
Yes.
and so does what you're doing now relate to what you were doing pre, pre crypto?
Yeah. Well, so
This?
my career, I was always in product. I
Okay.
started off product. I worked for a toy company where I had a couple of product lines under me. Making games for Disney, Marvel, all these, you know, big brand. Rubik's. We won Toy of the Year with one of them. It was cool. No. And then, you know, I stayed product for a while. I was founder for a couple of companies in the tech space, mostly wedding tech. And then when I got into Web3, I stayed product here. At first, I had something called NFT Scope, which was purely a public good service of interviewing founders and being like, are you going to rug? Not is this going to make people money, but do I think that you are going to rug or at least attempt to go through your roadmap? You know, I can't say it's going to go up, go down, but confidence level in them. And there were, you know, you could tell pretty quickly, like, oh, this is purely a rug.
Yeah.
Or like my favorite question to ask me was, you're about to take in $2 million. What are you going to do with that? And the number of times I got the response of, I'm about to take in how much money? I was like, oh,
Yeah,
shit, you have no idea what you're doing. Yeah. So I started consulting and doing it because they would ask me, like, you know what you're doing. You tell me, how do I run a product?
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was doing product consulting until eventually NFT Genius picked me up and I ran their product, brought NFL data to market, brought Gaia to be the largest marketplace on Flow, ran Ballers for a while there, and yeah, really just dug in there, and then went back to consulting for a while until I joined up with Drip, and here I've switched my hats to more of the biz dev side because I got so sick of biz dev closing a deal, and then as a product person, I would look at it and go, this is impossible. We cannot physically make this. You sign a deal for something that doesn't exist. Like we would have a Flow marketplace, and they'd be like, "Oh, look, it's an ETH NFT that we're working with." These don't work.
Yeah.
You literally can't do that. Why would you bring that deal to the table?
Yeah. I mean, back to that idea of talking to these founders who have no idea what they're getting into. And, you know, Miguel and I have a business sense outside of like NFTs. I mean, our project hasn't ever blown up to the point where we've had millions coming in, but how frustrating is it for you to talk to these people that are completely inept, even from a business stance, let alone like didn't calculate how much money they may make if they mint out on something?
It was so frustrating to know that these guys were putting in such little effort into the actual idea of what they were going to do afterwards, and it was purely on marketing. And they would and it was just they would be good at marketing or had enough money to pay somebody good at marketing, just mint out, and then it was very frustrating.
Yeah. I think what's frustrating for me is like how easy it was for these people to make money, 2 years ago. It's like you put out anything at the right time and you will mint out and you will make millions, and like you said, you will likely disappear.
For the wrong reasons.
Yeah, there's a couple people I know, and I will not name that.
You can name names.
That
it's okay, Mike.
That did that
in Vegas
and think that they did that, but think that they were like geniuses.
Yeah.
And I was like, you were marketing genius, and I will not argue that in any sense. You were 100% marketing genius.
Yeah,
and you run your community. Period.
Yeah. I mean, like, but that idea of roadmaps, you don't really hear about that too much nowadays, right? Like,
no.
What has replaced that? Is it no commitment? Is that the easier answer here?
No, so making a promise of roadmap is tough because you're also making a multi-year commitment to something that may or may not work because it's fluid. Mm-hmm. I like the idea more of these general ideas of what the community is about. Like you set a very specific statement of what you intend to do. You haven't said when we're going to. You haven't said necessarily, or maybe you have, but it's not. You haven't said it out loud now.
Yeah.
Exactly when and what, and you also did throw in these things like we will have an academy, and someone's going to win a Lambo, and we're going to just random stuff, and but the roadmaps would be like Lambo, merch, IRL events, and they were the same things repeatedly, but they didn't have a plan for that.
Yeah,
I'd rather have someone just be upfront and be like, we're going to figure it out based on sort of things in the community. It'll be one of three things, and the community can pick among those three.
It's funny because when we started the project, like Kevin and I 2.5 years ago, we started out with a roadmap, and then like later on, we had a conversation about it, and I'm like, dude, like this is ever evolving. Like we can't have an exact roadmap because it's not going to be that at some point. Like it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like the technology is changing, things are changing. Even the way that we're drawing things is changing. Like we just can't have that. So let's just scratch that. And we took it away, and then we just do our thing and go with the flow with whatever's happening out there, because things are changing very quickly out there.
Absolutely. And there's one other point that, to the founder sense, is fair: is you took in X amount of money to build the company, and to build the people beyond that costs money. You probably only had maybe 2 years runway, whatever it is.
Right.
But when you buy an NFT, the contract that you were signing with these communities felt like it was, you will be here forever and you will support this forever. And most of the founders were sitting there going, I never signed up for that.
Yeah.
So there was a real disconnect where no one thought far enough into the future. How does this evolve? Does this evolve into a company? Is this purely a short-term project that runs a lifespan? And I think that if that was more of an upfront statement from people of like, there is a 2-year time commitment that I will give you, and I will do X, Y, Z, would have just helped. And it would have been more fair, I feel like, on both sides, whereas some people felt slighted. But what are we supposed to? Especially once royalties went away. Once royalties died, and now they're finally coming back. Once royalties died, there's no revenue stream. Whatever you got, you got.
Mm-hmm.
You can't run forever on that. Yeah,
I do think those expectations are unbalanced in this space, because if you were to buy a product, you don't I mean, you want to believe that any sort of you buy a CD player, whatever that is, right? If Sony goes away, like, you don't hold them accountable, you don't go like post about them because they don't support your CD player anymore. But your artist goes away, and now you're up in arms that what about my art, right? It's like this weird disconnect from from a physical world to what we deal with here in the digital world, which is even more anonymous, that you would think, all right, there's probably less chance of something coming out of this.
You're right, and I don't know whose fault that is.
Yeah,
I feel like part of it was we didn't have this conversation enough back then. Everyone there was money flowing, people popping champagne, like whatever, it's good forever, but nothing ever is. And so that's to one thing about Drip is we're finding that the people that did want to stick around they're the ones that are coming and going like, okay, I have this community. If I re-engage them and build it stronger, then we can really go again. And we can really rip because you can build a revenue stream off of that. You can go, Ralph.
How much is like a community their needs or their requests from Drip leading it, or are they just following the products and the offering that Drip is putting out? Like, which one's leading the cart here?
Well, we have a pretty strong roadmap, and for the most part, what we found is whenever people are asking requests, luckily most of it has been on the roadmap and is generally either been saying it's in progress or is near. But we love to take what the community has, and you can adjust roadmap based upon requests. If we had enough requests for one thing, that has to bubble up. But what I always like to do is find out the why.
Yeah.
Because if everyone just makes something up, if everyone's asking for custom requests, which means that they can do a weird thing on Twitter. I don't know. Let's say that. The question I like to ask is, what are you trying to accomplish with that? Because if we find out that 5 different people want 5 different things, trying to accomplish the same goal, then we can compile it into an actual feature that fulfills that goal. Or if they're just wanting something, but what they want already exists somewhere else, we can redirect them to that part of the product. And that's where I like the product background comes in to be able to ask these questions versus the biz dev guys who just go to product and be like, everyone's asking for this one thing. You got to build this.
Yeah, that makes sense. And do you have competition, or why would somebody choose you over some other service?
There is competition, and the competition is in 2 factors. There's engagement, which is Zealy or Galaxy. But those are off Discord, which, by the way, we are now off Discord. I'll go on it later, but there's a project called 6079 that you might see. They're an AI play.
AI, right.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That is using us all. We're powering their entire campaign. So it's very similar to what you can get with the others, but it's much more of a targeted campaign that is from the company itself instead of a platform that is just spitting it to everyone. That's a differentiator there. We try to be much more of the community engagement and the community strong versus something like Galaxy or Zealy, which is much more of spam requests across 50 different things. That's our engagement side. And on the Discord side, you have something called the Engage, which is also a competitor there. The difference is they have, I think, 56 / commands.
Oh my God.
I don't know how to do that. We came very product and customer focused. Buttons. I know how buttons work. I can press a button to engage things. I don't want to know / command. I'm not going to learn it. Right. I actually forgot that they existed for most of the time. And we've seen our proof because the second largest Discord bot is one called ThankMemer, and they're an economy bot. And for Web 2, it's much more for gamers and doing buying crap with their gold. But so we've seen that our model has been proven because they've been so successful. And they're in, I think, 18 million servers or something crazy. But it services one piece of what we've done. We have a very holistic solution. So yeah, the competition is there, and we are going to destroy them.
I like that you'll name names for the competition.
I mean, we gotta get blood of who's out there, what they are. I mean, look, like Zealy, gotta give them props. Yeah. Those guys are huge, and the team is very innovative, and I've absolutely seen and love the way that they build things. We're in a slightly different space, even though it's competitive.
What are some like where do you see Drip 5-10 years from now? Like, what are some of the developments, or how do you guys come up with different developments for just your community?
Sure. Well, we're going to be going far beyond just the community factor. The goal is to make Drip a much more of a holistic company that expands beyond the principles of what we have here into much larger audiences. In Web3, and this is one thing that I thought was always interesting. In Web3, we have the sense of community. We're all involved. We talk to founders, there's back and forth. It's community.
Right.
In Web2, you have an audience.
Yeah.
It's a one-way communication. maybe you deign to listen to them if you're a streamer in some sense, but for the most part, it's a one-way communication. We want to change that across the board. There's the ability to have this much broader conversation where these Web3 ethos go into Web2 companies, and they can be introduced to this holistic view of what engagement rewards mean. So we see a much bigger view for the company.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I can see you guys being taking on like big companies. Like, let's say, for example, just for example's sake, let's say McDonald's wants to get into Web3. Like, I can see you guys partnering with McDonald's to like get the community engaged and like teach them how to get the community engaged, because that's something that they really suck at. They tried Web3 a while ago and it crashed. We actually had
NFT.
Yeah, we had a whole episode about all these big companies that just sucked at Web3, like Taco Bell, McDonald's. I forgot who else it was, but
Budweiser, they just really dropped it.
Yeah.
So actually, Budweiser is interesting. So by the way, two things of that, and I love how you touched those. McDonald's is the example I've used just to friends of how a Web2 company could expand into this and how it could work.
They could.
Right.
Budweiser, I bought the Bud Light Next NFTs.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and at least they were honest about. It took them a little bit, but they were honest about it. This will be for this football season, and we're going to give you stuff. And they kind of did. You got your Downs glasses. All right, fine, whatever. But they gave you the ability to enter into all these other contests. It's the team there. Even when Budweiser stopped supporting them, the team still stuck around and still has a community.
That's
that community is still somewhat active.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So those guys,
they were early.
The company cut them off, like straight up cut them off.
You know what aggravated me is the fact that what aggravated me was that these companies, they all have millions and millions of dollars, and they just could not figure it out. They couldn't figure it out.
The one that really pissed me off there was Cameo.
Oh yeah,
I bought that one too. I was on that. I'm like, these guys they are made for this space.
Right.
They have the most ability to do this at a low cost, where they can engage forever and just push out a utility. And they were one day like, we got bored.
Yeah.
We're not doing this.
I feel like the only people who did it right was Nike, for example.
But they're closing down their end, right? They're closing down their... What were they?
I wasn't sure if that was real or fake, because I heard this story too that they were shutting down with Artifact, but I don't know. I honestly don't know if it was real, because I thought that the Artifact guys tweeted out like, "Hey, that's news to us."
Oh wow! Okay, well,
I thought I could be wrong.
Fake news.
The story got around.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, Mike? That in one of our episodes we were talking about the McDonald's one, and Kevin came up with like the best idea ever. Like, imagine the Monopoly game on Web3. Like.
Yeah,
just imagine that.
Those pieces, right? Those should be NFTs that you have to buy, and then they become much more valuable to be able to like piece them together. Like, it's made for that.
Especially, do you know the story about the Monopoly and the scandals and crap?
Yeah. Watch that documentary.
You know what would solve that?
Yeah, NFTs. Putting it on chain, that would really solve it.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. It would be a great solution there. One that is sad. Starbucks got it right.
Right, the Odyssey.
4 and 3 guys, a bunch of Joe Rourke. He helped lead that, and Steve, FT Bark. The way that they put that out to really build a community, and Starbucks took $1 million in revenue. It was successful. I know people like Tolly, our founder. I introduced him to it, and he was like, I wasn't necessarily a Starbucks fan, but this thing made me learn about the history of these drinks, how they treat their farmers, all these things. I'll drink Starbucks now because I see that they have good ethos behind the company. They did a great job there, and then they just shut that shit down.
Yeah. And now, was that based on like Quest? Like, you had to learn things, right? You had to like engage with some of that learning experience.
Yeah. You had to engage. You had to go through things. They had fun mini games. In the mini games, they've started incorporating it into the standard Starbucks loyalty program. So hopefully more and more of it trickles over. But like, I sold the holiday NFT for like $1,100.
Yeah, I heard people had a nice flip on that.
Yeah, it was the best program I was ever in. I got paid for my Starbucks. Like, it was great.
That is great. You know, going back to the conversation we had a few minutes ago, like a lot of the reasons why we got into this space was because we just kept getting rugged. and we just got tired of it. And one day I remember looking at Kevin and I'm like, dude, like, I'm done. Like, we just got to do our own thing. Like, let's get some people, let's do a podcast. Let's see who's behind the art. Let them talk about who's behind the art, resonate with them. And then people can actually buy the art, like that was the whole purpose, the whole idea behind all this that we're doing. And we've been going strong for 2.5 years now. Like, it's just, we're not going to stop.
That's beautiful.
I wanted to ask you, and I posted about this on Twitter, and you had some thoughts on it as well. But Miguel and I are part of the Saints of LA NFT community, which the community itself is great. The founder, Casey, is great. There was some unfortunate events that happened where he teamed up with Patty's board for the syndicate idea, where we send money to an address and it gets reinvested and then gets sent back to us with some interest on it. I think it worked for 2 rounds, and then by the 3rd round, the drama began, the stories began. Well, we're going to move to a 2-week cycle. We're going to move to a 1-month cycle. He's working on big projects, so you'll get your money in a month. And then announcement coming soon. So this has been months now. I think January, maybe December. And, it's kind of all crumbling down, saying, yeah, this is a rug. Casey, the founder, is, feeling almost responsible for this. And he's saying he's going to try and get it back to people through farming. But what I wanted to talk to you about was twofold. One, if he's using that as a selling point to join the Saints of LA community, because like, hey, if you join, you get to join the syndicate. So that's a very tangible thing. And I think, between Miguel and I think we made like $100 off our initial investment, right? What we sent out and got back. There was some interest there. That's fun. But how do you tie to real rewards besides just getting like digital? Like, besides just getting a point for completing a request, how does Drip tie to a physical reward that somebody would be really interested in? And do you think that Drip can help alleviate some of this this mysterious thing of like, what am I doing with my money?
Yeah. And so on that side, Bad Bears got sucked in. We had a partnership with Saints of LA.
Oh, wow.
And so through it, Bad Bears got, access to the syndicate. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah, it was.
I missed the deadline to send in my money because I was it was a Monday morning. I was sleeping. I just left, didn't do it. And then I tried it the next time. I was like, damn it, I missed it. I missed it again. And it brings up that real question of like, as a community founder, if you're trying to do right by people,
right?
How do you possibly? How do you know? You can't. And it reminds me so much of that video where the guy throws money under like a screen, under like a garage door, and he gets them back, and they go until like all disappears. It's the worst, and it makes you guys feel terrible. It makes the community feel terrible. It makes the founders who made these partnerships feel terrible because everyone just wanted to do right, and then just one person goes and messes that up.
Yeah.
So the way Drip fixes that. And there's still some level of trust that has to be placed with your founder.
Sure.
Is you earn the points, and we have a storefront that the community creates, or the founder would create in stock. Could be with merch, could be with NFTs, could be with discount codes for various companies, could be an Uber Eats gift card, whatever they want to put in there. And you're able to see the stock, see how it is, and once we all make these purchases, you're able to see fairly quickly that it's returned and that they got it. And we are working on ways to make that easier because, as mentioned, it's tough to determine like what merch vendor should I have?
Right.
How should I build this? Who should be doing this? So having that tangible reward that's in community and that you're able to see what you can get for it. And as long as it's realistic, like if I join the community and if I go through 10 quests and I'm going to get $100 hoodie, that doesn't work. That math isn't there unless it's because I joined this like super high end one that yes, we only have 10 quests a year. So if you complete them all, then fine. We understand where they're doing that and why. But be able to look at the value that you're getting. We have some where their points are worth they can convert their points to money by showing just their value of their on-chain token. And they're able to they did a conversion of points to tokens. Okay, you can see how it is. You see it's real. You can see that since there's token conversion, the actual money flow, and you could follow that. But it would be this quick thing that if guys are like, I ordered the hat, they're never sending me this hat, tell everyone in the community instantly.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Do you? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it's also the fact that you don't need to send in money.
Right, that's huge.
You're performing actions and engagement, or like for owning a Rebel Ant, I'm earning 5 coins a day. 5, I think we were calling it dirt a day.
Yeah.
So I'm able to earn without paying additional money. But that's the key. If they're asking you to throw in money and saying, we'll give you back $120 for your $100.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I kept telling Kevin when he mentioned the syndicate at the beginning, I'm like, dude, like, nah, I don't want to do that.
I was like, oh shit, the meme coin season's crazy. If this guy just trades even halfway decently, he's making money. But at the same time, why does he need my money?
Yeah.
He should be a billionaire if he's that good.
Yeah. I don't have any good answers for that. It was just optimistic, right? And I think that's what's got me to where I am with all my other NFTs. They all went to zero almost, and that's because I was just overly optimistic.
Because you didn't do any research.
Hey, I make gut decisions that always fail, okay? And I stand behind that.
And you don't listen to me. That's the second
part. That is mostly true.
You buy it for the art.
Right, exactly. Yeah. The art's utility.
Like what's that project with the horses and stuff?
The Outlaws.
The Outlaws.
No bueno. No good. That was
tough one. I did that one too. That was after NFTNYC last year. I was going to stay away from that because I'm like, I'm not minting this garbage thing. And I saw them enough around NFTNYC that I'm like, all right.
Wait, they were at NFTNYC?
Their stuff was around. They had like enough pictures up or somewhere. I don't know, but I remember literally on the train home from the last day is when I bought it.
Yeah,
the art's good. I'm not gonna lie, the art was good. Maybe it's as AI generated as their Twitter, posts have been for the past year and a half, where it's just like, yeehaw, like that's it. That's the whole post.
The art was good, and I liked it a lot. And honestly, like I even offered to buy the project, and no one answered me. Yeah, like I went on Twitter and I was like, hey, I'm willing to buy the project. Just sell it to me. I think the art is good. Nobody answered me.
Well, if we find a way to get in contact, I'll send them over.
Mike, what was your hope, or what was your goal for going to NFTNYC? Because did Drip have a booth, or did Drip do something exclusively, or you were just kind of perusing?
We had an event there. We had a party that we hosted with Plague, Frogs,
right,
Brawler Bears, Genuine Undead, a couple of other guys, which was a lot of fun. It was at this little bar downtown with live music. Different vibe from a lot of the other shilly booze, which I love. I love the ones that are just like free booze and food and just meet and greets. This one was just different vibes, but general goal was just meet people. The conference it's the most unconference conference. If you go to that conference and you only go to the conference, then you think that there's like that the whole world is dead. You just go there to go to the side events, go to parties, go to meet people, go to VC things. It was a place to just meet both people I know and love and make new connections.
Yeah, it's funny because when we decided to go, we didn't think that we would actually be as popular as we were in the last day. Like we were nonstop, and it was funny because people kept coming to our booth and they're like, I don't know, but they're talking about you guys upstairs, and they're saying that you guys are giving out good interviews, so I want to get an interview. Like it was literally nonstop the last day.
That's so amazing cool. Because there was another place there that I won't name that had a large booth that's entire concept was interviews.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. We saw that.
You guys gave great interviews.
It was like nonstop to the last minute. They were taking the stuff down on the last day, and Kevin was still giving out an interview. Like
he pulled the curtain out from behind me, and I'm still talking to the guy. But he had been waiting like a half hour to talk to me, so I was like, all right, I got to make it worth it.
that's dedication on your part, and it speaks volumes that people are doing it. Yeah, you two are very easy to talk to, and you're very good at guiding conversation. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah, what I shared with Miguel last week is that I was surprised how much people just kind of resonated with who we are, what our story was. And, however many people did buy a Rebel Ant there, I was, like grateful for each one that did it. And it was just cool that people are still out there supporting the little guys. That's kind of our whole thing is we're just the little guys and there's still people supporting us. And that was really reassuring and kind of gave us some, reinvigorated us to say, okay, we need to keep going. We need to kind of figure out how to make those connections. And that was sort of our hope, was being in person, telling our story, answering questions in person is better than just, yelling into the timeline, which, if you don't have a gigantic following, who's seeing it anyway? So I think it worked to that extent, but now we need to figure out how to continue to do that and continue to grow.
Yeah.
I think you feel good about the show?
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. What was cool about it is that those relationships that we built there, that little community that we built there, we're still engaged with them till today. Like today, I was talking to about 2 or 3 of them. They were just hitting me up on Twitter. Hey, guys, how you guys doing? Like, when's the interview tonight? What time? Like, it was pretty cool to see that.
That's awesome. Yeah, there's something for an anonymous culture that lives online. When we get together in person, it makes all the difference.
Yeah. I didn't meet one shitty person there the whole time. I'm sure there were shitty people, but I didn't meet any shitty people. I was like, oh, everyone here is like cool. Like everyone here is like, okay, nobody was being disrespectful. Nobody was, trying to like overly pitch me on something or, talking shit about us. So it was just like, oh, these are all just good, semi like-minded people.
Yeah, that's true. It is. I mean, if you're going to take the time and effort to show up, you should hope that you get the kind of person. And I can't imagine anyone being mean to you guys and being jerks. Some of the most affable people in this space.
Yeah. So before we hit our hour mark, do you want to give us just kind of give the pitch to somebody who's watching who may be interested in using Drip and kind of explain what the process might be, what that cost is? I know you have a few plans, what they might expect on how to roll this out.
Absolutely. So if you're looking to engage your community more and reward them for being members and being a part of your community, give Drip a try. We have a free version, which is really easy. You just connect your Discord, install it, and you got the bot up and running, as Miguel said, up in 5 minutes as a base level. We have a $99 a month plan for our Drip Pro, and that gives you much more of the Web3 features and our API access, which we found a lot of people are doing some really crazy things, taking Drip off Discord into their web apps, into communities, into their spaces, into onto their website. So that's been a really cool thing. But in general, if you have a community that you want to give back to them and you want them to be there for you, and either you want something else for the future for them, you want them to just be able to be monetized to speak, because an engaged community is a community that you can do more with. It's a really good app to download, easy to use. Try Drip. There's a reason why we have such fast growth and very, very low churn. I think we have no paid churn, which is just crazy. Insane.
That's amazing.
I'm excited for us to kind of dip into the Drip because, like we said, it sounds like it solves a lot of problems for us, kind of helping us along with that engagement process that we've been missing a bit online, and giving us these other outlets to actually reward our community, which has always been our goal, is to support our community. So I am looking forward to seeing how we can use Drip to the fullest extent, and staying close and working with you and your team and kind of seeing how we can maybe, be a model for, some of your other use cases.
I appreciate that. Absolutely. And as you've seen, it's great for both the existing ones and for people building towards something new. There's no better time to get your community out there. So I appreciate it. I look forward to working with you guys and building the best and newest Drip stuff.
Yeah, I like it. Cool. All right. Miguel, any closing thoughts?
No, just looking forward to continue to learn more about Drip and setting it up on my Discord. And, I started it earlier today, so I just got to play with it a little bit more. But I think by midweek, we should be good to go.
I love it. Yeah. And Mike, where can people find you or Drip? Where do you want to send them?
Absolutely. Our website is drip.re. Check it out there, or on X or at dripchain. Those are probably the two best ways. We'll also post it here into our Drip Discord server, so you can come hang out and check it out.
Perfect. And is your Twitter name a reference to Magic the Gathering?
Yes.
Nice.
So, like most people of older age, I picked my name when I was much younger, and I got this one. And if I went with my original AOL, I would have been I Fuzzy Wuzzy I. So luckily, I went with the Magic card instead of
pretty
that
good. That's pretty good. I've shared the story of how I've made this mistake of having like these two identities of Kevin with a Y, which is my Twitter name, is like Kevyn, but my real name is Kevin, and it gets very confusing because my email is also with a Y, and I just like I don't know why it was like an 8th grade rebellious thing. I was like, I'm going to be Kevin with a Y, and I've never been able to separate it. And it just even today I made a phone call to an office, and they're like, "Wait, is your name spelled the way your email is?" I was like, "No, it's not. It's just very confusing." Well, so anyway, I respect your name there, your reference to Magic the Gathering, and I think you and I have a lot to catch up about after the show about Our Lady Peace and Magic the Gathering.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time, and even though we're going to end the stream, why don't you hang on with us for 1 second, okay?
Sure. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining and watching. Check us out at rebelants.io. You can mint your own Rebel Ants Battle for the Colony at battleforthecolony.com. We will see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.